It comes as a considerable surprise to my clients when we do a playing lesson that almost every shot is in some way adjusted to best suit the techniques to the circumstances and the shot. And the types of tools that we use, I call them dialable tools because we can move them back and forth depending on the need of the shot and our experience that day or that month, are quite varied. We have the ball position. It can move forward or back. We have the club face attitude, both open and closed, or square of course, and we have the level of the shoulders and the line and the general direction of the swing, not to mention the line across the toes, typical of several of the adjustments that we make. And we simply dial in or out based on one of two things. Did we dislike the previous shot of similar nature, in which case we need to subtly improve it? Or did we think that although well struck, it doesn't quite match the needs of the next shot of similar nature? Regardless, and using either one as a motive, we adjust. A typical example is particularly relevant since much of the earlier segments, the basics that I've shown you, are dedicated to hitting a ball with a low draw. We could argue that you're going to get particularly good at that to the point where it can on occasion be inconvenient. Once you start hitting a well-struck ball that turns left and goes fairly low, it'll become more and more valuable to you to learn how to reverse that process. We're no longer fearful of hitting the ball violently to the right, slicing, and so we can actually use tools that we would in the past have never thought appropriate to adjust. Typical, we can open up the club face slightly. It's a surprise how many golf shots in golf are hit with the club face slightly open. We can move the ball both back and forward, and we can aim and swing to one side or another of what we would consider the normal line. So if you're hitting the ball rather too low and left, open up the club face, aim and swing to the left with the ball a little nearer the left foot, still swing with the intention of hitting a slightly lower draw, and yet you'll be pleased to see that the ball climbs a little higher and bends and starts rather less left than you've been experiencing, and you might find it optimizes your effect. If you decide that you need a fairly explicit movement to the right, then you'll find that in another segment in this collection of video tutorials.